Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. I'm here to talk about Man of Steel. Many of you have been asking me when I was going to talk about Man of Steel, and on Twitter a lot of people were saying, where's your review of Man of Steel? Well, sadly it took me several days to work up the heart to talk about that movie. It super bummed me out. It really bummed me out, and usually I come right home and I spew my thoughts here in video form, but for this film, I needed a few days to process it. Now, I am very, very happy that many of you enjoyed the movie. A lot of people on Twitter were telling me they liked it, had a great time, their favorite Superman movie so far. I couldn't be happier for that. I wish I felt the same. I, however, did not. I have been really looking forward to Man of Steel. I had very high hopes. I was thrilled that Zack Snyder was going to do it. I thought he was the perfect director for it. It was my most anticipated movie of the summer. And I love Superman. Here is little mini-me Superman. Does it look like me? This is how much I love Superman. That's my head on a Superman body. Come on. You don't get that much more ridiculously into Superman than that. I love Superman. And unfortunately, Man of Steel is not the Superman film that I wished it was going to be. Just like Superman Returns was a big disappointment to me. I don't know why Superman is so difficult for people to get right. But a lot of what I wanted to say about the movie was much more eloquently presented by Mark Waid, who is a Superman writer and comic book writer I like tremendously. If you haven't read his post, his spoiler review about Superman, I highly recommend checking it out. You can just do a Google search for Mark Waid Man of Steel review, and I also tweeted it several times. It's very well said, and it basically speaks to Superman as a character and how in this film he didn't really seem like Superman too much. Now here's what I will say, and I'm going to get into spoilers pretty soon, but for now, let me just say this. Every time Kevin Costner is on the screen in this movie, it's fantastic. For the first half an hour I was watching Man of Steel, I thought I was in the perfect Superman movie. I thought they finally nailed it. Kevin Costner as Pa Kent is inspired casting. It is absolutely inspired, and he delivers a wonderful performance. All of the stuff with young Clark and that relationship is so beautiful and is so wonderfully Americana. It is the father-son dynamic is absolutely. I honestly kind of got misty watching some of those scenes, especially the one during the tornado. It's great, and I wanted more of that in this movie. Not necessarily more Pa Kent, but more of that feeling of nobility. And we can assume the spoilers from here on out. If you haven't seen Man of Steel and you still want to see it, perhaps this is where you skip and come back later. The difficult thing for me, Mark Waid summed up a lot of what I had the problem with as far as destroying the city and all that stuff. I'm not going to rehash that stuff. Read his review. It's well said. But for me, it goes more than that. Superman, the character, isn't Batman. He isn't any of the Marvel characters. Marvel characters are flawed. They have issues. They have troubles. The reason I was a Marvel zombie from way back is that I loved that these characters felt like me. They had problems. They had struggles just like me. This isn't what DC characters are, historically. And especially isn't what Superman is. Superman is an ideal. He is what we all wish we could be. He is the Superman. He is truth, justice, and the American way. And he's a symbol. And at no point in this movie, I mean, I guess you could make an argument that to a few certain people he is, but I really am chagrined at the fact that you never see Superman through anyone else's eyes, even Lois Lane's, really. Yes, it's more about his alien nature, and this is really a sci-fi film more than it's a superhero film. And I liked that. I thought that could still work in this telling. I thought starting on Krypton, showing how cool Krypton is, giving Jor-El a cool action sequence to start the movie of his own was very cool. I was in this movie for the first half hour. But and I like that you can get Kal-El's struggle with being human versus being alien. All that stuff can work. But what you have to have, I think, to have a Superman movie that will resonate is a sense that Superman is that Boy Scout. He is the best of all of us. He puts others above himself, and we get some of him learning to do that with the stuff with Pa Kent at the beginning, but I think the movie jumps right to global Earth conflict, terror, destruction far too quickly, and we don't get to see Superman mature into someone who cares about who cares about people, who gives of himself, who tries to make the world a better place in small ways in addition to big ways. Yes, he gives himself up and becomes public, to save the world, but you never see, other than the stuff at the beginning where he's saving the kids in the bus, there should have been stuff as an adult where he was doing that. Okay, he saves a few guys on the steel mill, but as Superman in the suit, becoming this ideal, it is just an alien movie. It's just a guy who everyone is scared of right away, and it's all about politics and weaponization and destroying the planet far too quickly. And I wanted to see that idea of nobility, of his morality and his inherent those ideals, the best parts of human nature that it sometimes takes an alien to show us. That's what Superman is. He is, look up in the sky, that joy of flying, that joy of being able to be goodness. And that is really, I think, what was missing from this film, is a feeling of goodness. And that is manifested through Superman killing at the end, which really sat wrong with me, of him sort of showing a complete disregard for the tremendous amount of destruction. And at a certain point, it just becomes a bombastic mess, this film, because you're just destroying things without regard for any kind of nobility and care. And again, Mark Waid says this much better than I just wanted to see someone look to Superman and say, that's how we should all be. That's how we should all act. The way this guy acts is how we should all act. And I think that's what Superman is as a character. He is trying to protect everyone. He's trying to be the best of what humans can do, the best of human nature. And it just bummed me out how joyless, how dark, how sad, how un-Superman this felt to me. I don't know, it's just a rant, and it's a bummer. And honestly, it took me a long time to do this video because I didn't want to just sit here and rant at that. But honestly, I've been bummed out this whole weekend because of this film. It just makes me sad that how joyless and bleak a vision of Superman it is. And Superman should be the least bleak character. The fact that I would never recommend my 8-year-old nephew go see this, the fact that I wouldn't recommend anyone take their kids to go see Superman, it's Superman. It just makes me sad. So, on that note, there'll be more videos coming soon, hopefully of lots of happier topics. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.